It was the ancient Romans who first began using cremation urns. Today, the custom continues. The remains are stored in urns permanently or sometimes temporarily before burial. And with cremation, one's final resting place doesn't have to be 6 feet under. The cremation urn has an important place in some households. It's a constant reminder of the dearly departed, helping to keep the memories alive. The urn starts with a concept. The potter draws a large-scale design, which he'll use as a reference as he shapes a prototype urn from clay. He slaps a lump of clay onto the potter's wheel. The wheel spins and the potter begins to transform the shapeless lump into the desired form. The process is called throwing, a potter's term for shaping. He leaves the bottom open so the walls can be more easily formed into the desired shape. He'll add a base to the urn later. As he pulls up the clay to produce the walls, he works it to a uniform thickness. He gathers the top to narrow the opening, a technique known as collaring. Then, with the potter's wheel at a stop, he takes the shape from round to rectangular and tapers it at the neck. Then it's into a casting box, which exposes only half of the urn prototype. He brushes a release agent onto that half. Using a mixer, he whips up a mix of plaster and water. He blends it until it thickens to the consistency of pancake batter. The liquefied plaster will harden in minutes, so he quickly pours it into the box with the urn prototype and fills it right to the top. As the plaster hardens, the exposed urn prototype makes an impression of half of the urn. He'll make another one exactly like it for the other half of the urn. He'll attach them with a key system. For this, he drills notches in one mold half. The notches match up with raised areas on the other mold half to align them. He ties the molds together with suspender-like straps, cinching them tightly together. He adds a base to the urn and straps it to the other two pieces. He sets the assembled mold upright, exposing the opening of the urn. He's now ready to make a copy of the original urn. In fact, he'll make 20 at once, using 20 identical plaster molds. He pumps liquid clay into each one, filling it to the brim. Over 3 to 4 hours, the plaster absorbs water in the clay it comes into contact with, causing it to solidify. The clay in the center remains liquid. He pours that into a barrel to be strained and reused. And now, the big reveal. He opens the mold and removes the urn. It's exactly like the prototype sculpted by the potter. He lifts a lid from another plastic mold and checks the fit to the urn. After drying and an initial firing to harden the clay, a worker coats the urn and the lid with a glaze, working from the inside out. The glaze is a mixture of finely milled minerals and water. It adds color and a glass-like non-porous surface when fired a second time. Cremation urns come in a range of styles and colors. Customers often make a selection that reflects the taste of the deceased. Another worker now brushes a mixture of wax and alumina onto the neck of the urn and the lid. This will keep them from fusing together during the final firing. They fire the cremation urns at a very intense 1,195 degrees Celsius for about 15 hours. This transforms the clay into a durable ceramic. They cool the urns slowly for 13 hours to prevent cracking. 4 days in the making, these urns are now ready to contain a loved one's remains, and in so doing, honor a life.